Wanui, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? Let's get started here. Hello, Annie Bear. Hello, Hypnicity. So let me see. Hello, Kat. How are you? Hello, Randy. Yeah, but some people might be skipping the Oracle card read and coming straight in here. So I'm putting my palms together when speaking to the trees, nature spirits, and angels. It feels like it's throbbing stronger. Is this the same for everyone? Everyone finds their own connection differently, and I have done the same thing before. And this month tends to be more of an internal month. And so you can definitely find that being very supportive to place your hands in the prayer position. Hello, Paul Freed. How are you today? I met my spirit guide last night. Oh, you're not late. You're classically on time, just like every sovereign being. So let me see what we've got going on here. I met my spirit guides last night, and in my dream, his name was Dreamweaver. You would not believe the amount of horses that get named Dreamweaver. Um, Told me I was going in the right direction and to keep it up. Oh, it was Pleiadian then. So he had the blonde hair and the blue eyes. Oop, there goes me again. I must have hit a keyword there, right? my my internet keeps flashing in and out on me. Yeah, it's very hypnotic. Debbie, I am feeling very disconnected. I see so much. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. It says, I see so much that others do not see yet, and I can't make them see what my guides have shown me. That is because, dear one, those messages are for you. And this is a really great message. I am so, so glad that you actually are sharing this, because oftentimes we will do things and our guides will share things with us, and we will be running around trying to express that to people. And then we will get distressed. And I admit for myself, even I've gotten despondent a couple of times whenever I've tried to share things. Any other people simply were not ready to hear it, or it was not a message for them. And it made me despondent. And so right now, especially, what we have is kind of like what you're saying. Pray that I'm hearing my messages appropriately. Your messages are coming great for you, Hypnicity. They're here to support you. And right now, we can also be doing some sort of a disconnect thing, simply because this is the month where it is the theme or the essence of purification. And so Wero, which is Mars in the morning, is actually making us have a more active role of looking over our own day, our own purification, our own connections, our own routines. And so some of it is going to be, within, give it a week. In fact, next week, we'll be headed into a very busy week as far as our energies go, because we will go then from Tura, which is where we are, and then we will go transition into Ma'ita, which will be the pure undistorted light from the central sun, and then we'll be headed into Namu, which is the sign of peace. And I think you're going to find within that week, you're going to start stepping into more of your connection. So if you're feeling kind of distressed that you are disconnected from everybody, or that sometimes what you have been shown or the messages that you're getting, oftentimes you'll find that that will coalesce and it will naturally evolve. Just give it a week or so. Wow, wow, Lori Hunsinger. Standing in the light with Annie Bear. Got here. Put my palms together so I have time to move them apart. My hands get so warm so that I get hot. Oh no. You guys, it's because you have energy centers in the center of the palms of your hands. And so sometimes whenever you place them together, you're actually building heat with that. They're little hand generators. Yep, yep, yep. You're feeling your own energy system here. People are very, yes, and I'm going to speak to this right now. Hypnicity, there is a lot of polarity and duality that's happening with people. And so they're already hyperactive. And right now, like I said, this month especially, the theme of it is purification. Some of it is that people will need to, and you can't fix everybody. It's just a matter of looking into whatever is working for you right now, because you need to look over how social media is affecting you. What about your friend groups? Are they being supportive? Can you find a way to step away without being completely disconnected? And I get that. And, you can certainly find things in your friend groups online, people that have like minds. But I will also caution you too, and we'll do an activation today that will also help whenever we're doing the alchemizations, because I do see a lot of things where people are entrenched in duality. And this is ancient, because it's the old divide and conquer thing that happens. So we're building bridges, not divisions. Yeah, I feel my palms tingling from time to time without intention. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. That's pretty cool. So I was amazed at. Oh, okay. So Paul shared that this morning. Then, Paul, what are you? No, you can't get your head. You can't get that Dreamweaver song out of your head. That's pretty funny. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Oh, I forgot, Paul. How was Alice Cooper? Did you have fun? I bet you had fun. I bet he's always put on an amazing show. And he's a prime example too of, with the musicians, you can see whenever you're bathed in those sound frequencies, when they're in balance. Look at some of the old rockers. They're capable of living really long lives, pretty extended lives, especially considering some of the abuse that happens. They're they live life to its fullest, and so it's impressive to me how the music frequencies, it's fascinating, Randy. But yeah, how it works for the bodies. It's all just a pack of lies. I have to admit, I've been hearing that same line myself. Some of the stuff I disconnect from simply because it's noise or it's interference and things. But it's interesting to me that keeps popping up. And it is. You have to decide what is yours and what isn't. He came out with his pet. Oh, that's cool. Sunky. Yeah, look at Mick Jagger. I know, right? Yeah, it's just it. And a lot of it, you'll look at it, especially the people that reach over 100, they're either doing yoga, tai chi, or dancing. And there again, with the dancing, especially, you're looking at, again, that double pack of the sound frequencies that are realigning and helping to assist with the body. Be picky is what I keep hearing. We definitely want to continue to be picky about what we're putting in, and especially to what we're listening to. And by that, just simply take a look at your own, what does your energy system say to you? Do you feel better after you've listened to it? And a lot of times, the music will help you to move. You just really feel like you're wanting to move. Jane Donaldson last week, Kuno Hamanisa, she did ask me a question, and that is what this slide is that is directly in front of us. And she had asked me, the camel, of course, is one of our supporting medicines for this month because it supports the sign or the motu of Patura. And she had asked me what the second one was, because we always get two supporting beings for each of the signs. And so this month, I had thought, but I double checked to make sure. And yes, this month's other support being is the Umakawa. And what that is the human shaman, the human light shaman, the human medicine man, the human, you'll see them all over the world. They're the medicine people. What messages do you feed your soul? Anything that is uplifting, anything that is joy, usually anything that makes me laugh. But this month more than any other month, I have been craving neutrality. Now, normally I just love to overshoot and go from blah, or irritated to neutrality, and then I kick it in gear and go right up into joy, bliss, ecstasy, those higher frequencies. But I find myself this month, I have been really holding myself at neutrality. And for some of the client animals that I've been working on, it has been a matter of going to do this. We're going to do this we're going to do this set, and then I am giving it way more time, way more space. Now, usually I do honor that with the animals, because, and especially with all of us, you'll find that we start off as babies, and then society and our environments will begin packing all of these different experiences on top of it. And sometimes you just need that neutrality. And especially whenever I go to do the energy healing, it will peel off that first layer. I have to wait. I'll do the first set of meridian clearing, and then I have to wait. And the reason why I'm waiting is because the meridians themselves are being balanced. And meridians, if you're not familiar with them, they are the same meridians, the same rivers of energy that flow in and around your body that an acupuncturist or an acupressurist uses. They correspond to major organs in our body and different systems in our body, but they're energy that is being worked with. They are a light body. And so by getting that into balance, it will help your physical body come into balance. And so a lot of times what I find is I usually will, especially as an animal that is in great need, or they've been at this chronic disease or this chronic ailment, say they've got a lame leg. It can take anywhere from 3 days. Usually I'll listen, because sometimes it'll go a little bit faster. Like in the case of kitty cats, sometimes whenever they get the energy healing, they're just really going to go fast. So depending, I'll dip back in within a day, within 3 days, depends on what the animal needs. But as those peel off, just like what Lorian and Hypnicity are saying, you begin to feel, and it's a bit of a luxury to feel that neutrality. You're beginning to feel that space. And what happened is some of the gunk that you think that you've been clearing, like decluttering, you've already cleared out your desk. Wow, well done you. Or you've cleaned the clutter off of the kitchen. You're finding that you actually have these clear spaces in your aura around you. And the reason why is because the energy of that stuff wasn't just physically there. You've also been storing it in your aura, in your space around you. And so this month, as we are working through some of the decluttering, and that can even be decluttering from digital places. Beginning of this month, I was really urged to go through some of my old emails and wholesale declutter. That took me some time to do. And as I did it, I do this stuff. I do energy work all the time. And even I was shocked at how it was impacting and slowing me down, having those old emails. Cleaning and clearing it was absolutely what was needed. It definitely took focus, and it certainly took hours of time, but it's worth the effort to pause. And that's what this month is about. It's pausing, checking your diet. Now, to say that it's going to stay that way forever, but finding something that's going to help you, like what Randy was suggesting earlier, that even subsisting off of, say, iceberg lettuce, or what's the other name of that little lettuce? I can imagine it. They're really baby, it might even be baby lettuce, but basically they're just chlorophyll. So they're light and they're water. And that definitely will help to support. You can nibble on something like that as you're doing your detoxing. So for everybody that's here and on the replay, what I wanted to do is I'm going to get into some of the Lemurian Light Codes right off the bat, and we're just going to try through those. And then I had some different requests. In fact, I'm going to go through, before I do those, that's not that one. It's this one, because I did have questions about the practical tips for energy management, because I wanted to ensure that what I'm doing here is in alignment. If anybody needs some more extra support to what's going on. Yeah, like Annie Bear says, I sleep to the meditations all night. I love frequency music at night, and I will also do several of the different meditations at night too. But yeah, here's some of the things for your own energy management, and it is just like I was saying just a few minutes ago. Become a little more aware of what you're doing. How is something, be present? So how is that making you feel right now? And to take note, is it always going to be dragging you down if you hang out with that one friend? Now, look, we've all had whiny days, and how we get over our whiny days is that we actually do share with other people. So that a problem shared is usually a problem solved. But we've all met that person who doesn't want solutions, doesn't want to fix the problem, really doesn't, and wants to just continue holding that problem, and quite frankly, will drag down everybody around them because their familiar is at the bottom of the sea, dragging everybody down. That's their familiar. And the other one that you need to do too is to, again, by going into neutrality, maybe you've never had really a loving relationship in your life. Well, I can assure you, if somebody comes over and starts loving on you and you've never had that, you're going to freak out. I've seen plenty of animals do this where it's like, what do you think you're doing? Same thing with horses that have gone through abuse. Again, what do you think you're doing? Usually they will not allow you to touch. And so you go into a space of, hey, I can help with you, but you stand there, you do you, and I will stand here and I will do me. And you allow them to come into your aura and vice versa, but there's no pressure. You really do lean into this. Yeah, I've adopted not mine, not now, not never. And you're still storing things in your neck and shoulders. That is old story that we can collapse. Hi, Leah. So we've still got the head sinus thing. Yeah, that'll be the other thing that I'm going to share with you. And yeah, I'm going over my notes because I took notes too. Oh, beautiful. Sure, sure, sure. I haven't been on Facebook. So if people are trying to connect on Facebook, I've actually been doing more on YouTube than I have on Facebook. I've been trying to do YouTube posts more so than I have Facebook. Yeah, I get distracted on Facebook, if I'm completely honest. But yeah, I will look for that hypnicity. Absolutely. And anytime that somebody needs to contact me, literally go to debbiedement.com, and it's in the description box, but I will go ahead and type it in right here for you. And on the upper right-hand corner, there is a contact me form. Fill that out, and we will be chatting away. I try to get back in contact with everybody within 24 hours. So yeah, be aware of what's causing your energy to dip. So avoidance is helpful. And then stack your day in your favor. So you're going to be looking for supportive foods, supportive families, supportive ideas. Make sure that whenever you are going onto your social medias, if news makes you think really horrible thoughts, avoid it. Go look for your silly cat videos, or maybe there's somebody that is on a farm and they can show you ducky videos or something. Yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, we're going to set the energy bubble. So make sure that your energy bubble is set. That will definitely help to empower you. And the other thing that we need to do, especially for this month, is make sure that you're grounding yourself. Get out into nature. Make the effort to get yourself in contact with some animal friends. Yeah. Um, Not only is news biased, it's a story. And quite frankly, it's a bit of a boring story. It used to work for them back in the day, but it's quite frankly, it's boring. It's like, oh, look, they call it new, but it's not new. It's just the same old recycled stuff. Blech. I have better things to do. Even sitting and staring at a wall is better. Honestly, though, if you sit there and just stare at a blank wall for a while, you can allow the neutrality in even more, and you can have some amazing, amazing experiences. And then grounding, with the grounding we can go through, and like I said, nature, lean into nature walks. And if you can't get into um, an environment with Mother Nature. I realize right now we're headed into hurricane season and all kinds of things right now. You can, to avoid the heat, you can get out there in the mornings, hug a tree. If you can't hug a tree because you're in a desert and you're around prickly things, go for a walk. Um, it will help to ground you the more that you are in and around Mother Nature, because she's going to be working on your energy system just as well and probably even better than some of the stuff that you're going to be seeing in your news cycles. So I will do that, and they will say, "What is wrong with you looking at the wall?" You don't have to do it all day. If you want, you can just slip up a poster there. The whole East Coast of the US needs calming prayers. It's interesting, hypnicity, because usually I'm in there and I do mitigate a lot of the weather stuff. And for whatever reason, I heard leave it alone this time. So I've done my thing for the East Coast. I was really happy to see the rains arrive for Vancouver. So that's that. We did get just a little bit of the rain ourselves too. Yeah, Aaron, go lightly, please, please, please. I agree. But Aaron will only be the beginning. The East Coast and especially Florida and the Caribbean, hurricane season is part of their ecology. So we sincerely hope that they will behave themselves and behave like normal storms will do. And yeah, you can touch a cactus, just touch between the thorns. We have 78 today in Pennsylvania. That's not wood. That's actually really tame for Pennsylvania this time of year. Hurricanes coming in, Randy. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do some Lemurian light codes right quick. And today, I'm also going to do an alchemy of the dimensions. And that is going to be something that you can do also whenever you are stuck in polarity, duality. If you're in a situation where it seems like very much a them versus us thing, this can help to lift you up and out of it. And it's also going to set you up for having the different experiences. You're going to begin seeing different levels of the different dimensional beings. So let's get started first with some of the Lemurian light codes. Tihe mori ora mahakawatahi te ingwa to ita otawana wai watapu kita ita ingwa ta finui tarani tikitao wai watapu kita ita ingwa ta faya tamatua tama wai watapu kita tihe mori ho. Okay, I'm actually hearing, we're going to pause here for a second so that you can actually understand what the second set of this is that I do. Huna Flash used to call this a dragon ride. And what it is it helps to collapse the story and it helps to collapse the energy field. Sometimes we will do these distortions because what's happened is our undistorted light comes from the central sun. When it hits our planet, there have been filters, distortion filters, that have put in place around the planet for thousands of years, maybe even millennia. And we're distorted so that some beings can have more power down here. That's what the field distortions were created for. And so when we think that we're creating something from a pure intention, oftentimes what's happening is we're actually recreating a filter distortion. We're not actually creating from our pure heart. And so by listening to this and going through this, these sounds will help to reset your DNA and will help to zero point and collapse the negative stories back to zero again. So we clean slate this. So sometimes I just zip past this pretty fast, but that's what these are about. E te I a u pe o u pe a il I un ul o ep tunu nu ma il I. And then lastly, what I'm going to do is the Poata. And usually this one is a physical one that we do, but I'm going to be doing because it is called the slow rising pillar of light. But I'm just going to be saying the words to it. Hakata. Toropa potehi tuma kima kakika. Naro hawa tu takima takika taetu tehu upo. There we go. I love anything to do with this. I think I have pictures where I see two suns. Am I correct? No, you are not. And we have been told a lot of times that there are things that we are seeing, and it ended up actually being exactly what we thought. My hubby and I have gone through periods where we have seen two moons, and I kind of gave up wanting to see the moon simply because the moon kept changing where it was and its directions, and it's a little too weird. So it doesn't surprise me. Sold out with Alice Cooper. Doesn't surprise me. He better be sold out. I got dragons. I was thinking of riding my motorcycle, and then the vision turned into a flying dragon. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I was seeing doves. Gorgeous. Paul Freed, what that is the energy from next month is actually beginning to come in already, which isn't surprising because this year we actually had the energy of the Falcons coming in prior to this current month. So what I want to do next, and that is what the collapsing thing is. Yeah. So you're already picking up the energy that's coming in. So what I want to do next will be an alchemy of the dimensions. Randy's usually on board with this one. What I'm going to say with this one is sometimes this one can make you feel dizzy, and the intent of it is to bring you up and out of a lower frequency. But you will sometimes find that is a little scary or it is unfamiliar. You will see sometimes changes to your physical world as a result of going through these activations that we're about to do. If that happens, all you need to do is slow down. Imagine yourself in your nature space. This is interesting. Cat's saying I had two dreams. I saw two. Not sure if it was two moons or maybe one was the sun and it was foggy both times. Interesting. And yeah, I saw falcons last month. I love that song too, When Doves Cry. It's beautiful. Out in the ocean. Little sea turtle, Leah. Okay. So what we're going to do as people, we're going to just look up towards the ceiling and then gently close your eyes. Is there such a thing as dark codes? Actually, there are, Annie Bear, and again, there is some duality with that, some duality and polarity, but I'm going to say those are old codes that were placed, and they're literally distortion filters because what it does is it distorts the light, it distorts the truth. So that's what your dark coding would be. Okay, so let's go ahead and close our eyes, look up behind your eyelids. And as you close your eyelids down and you just sit there with your eyes up behind your eyelids, you might begin to feel your eyelids flutter, and that's perfect. Imagine yourself in your favorite nature scene. Could be walking in the park, could be along a stream, along the ocean, an alpine meadow, or at the base of your favorite tree. Okay, let me get my energy set up here and then we will begin. Alchemy of the first dimension. Alchemy of the second dimension. Alchemy of the third dimension. Alchemy of the fourth dimension. And that brings us into the fifth dimension. And so if you'd like to stay here, and just imagine yourself in your favorite space, your favorite nature space. And the rest of us will then go up. So we're going to go up a wee bit higher today. Alchemy of the fifth dimension. Alchemy of the sixth dimension. Alchemy of the seventh dimension. And that brings us into the eighth dimension. And this is where the Ascended Masters reside. So by going this far, you may begin to see various Ascended Masters. You may begin to see signs from them. Roses from Mother Mary, color blue for Jesus, light blue for Mother Mary. You may begin to experience Kuan Yin, healing compassion. Pan is here, Dwa Kul, Saint Germain of the Violet Flame. There are multiple Ascended Masters, and they may begin coming into your dreams at night if you have something that you need to work on, coming to assist you. Now, if you would like, you can hang out here. Or again, we will go ahead and continue up because there's another set of beings that we'd like to get in contact with. And so let's go Alchemy of the eighth dimension. Alchemy of the ninth dimension. And this is going to bring us into the realm of our 10th dimensional beings. And these little cuties tend to express themselves as light flashes. You'll see light orbs, flashes of light. Sometimes it'll be white light. Sometimes it'll be different colors. I'll often see these 10th dimensional beings zipping in and out of my closet. They'll disappear through the walls, reappear under pillows. And these are gentle beings. And oftentimes they'll be coming in to work on and upgrade your own energy system. And we're going to go up just a little bit higher today if you would like. And again, if you'd like to just hang out here, imagine your favorite space with Mother Earth. Imagine her holding you in her loving embrace. Okay, here we go. Alchemy of the 10th dimension. Alchemy of the 11th dimension. And Alchemy of the 12th dimension. And now we're going to gently, gently, gently come back down towards Mother Earth. Feel the bark of the tree behind you. Feel the sand between your toes. Or the cool chill of the creek as you dangle your feet into the stream. Coming back into your own body. Now sometimes if you've had a physical ailment doing these alchemies can help to reset your body, can help to reset your energy codes. If there's been a negative story or a lingering story. They're different experiences, but basically it's bringing you closer and closer to the undistorted light that sits at the central sun. So it's more of a unification. And that is gorgeous. My heart and my third eye were beating in unison. That's beautiful, Lori. And a lot of times by doing this, this will help to reset what our bodies are doing so that we come more and more into alignment. Randy, yeah, we'll see you in just a few, honey. Beautiful, Paul Freed. I'm under an apple tree in the park. Out with the old, in with the new, right? That's gorgeous. One of the things that I did a little research on too with this two moon thing that's happening sometimes. Hi, Hugh. Going to start at the beginning, inner peace in every heart. That's beautiful. We just did a whole bunch of Lemurian Light Codes, but we also did an alchemization going from the first dimension and into the 13th dimension. There are multiple dimensions, depending on who you're talking to. Sometimes you'll hear it in the 30s, sometimes you'll hear it in the hundreds, thousands. It just depends on who you're listening to. And you always follow your own intuition as to where you need your stopping point to be. Because the more that you do this, obviously, then you'll get more and more comfortable with the different dimensions. And then you can go further and further up if that's something that you would like. The main reason that I do that is to experience the interdimensional beings that are available to us. That's part of the reason that you're encouraged to do meditations daily. And I know that sounds really out there, but all you really need to do for a meditation, it can be for 30 seconds. And you just breathe in for a count of 4, hold for a count of 2, and breathe out for a count of 6. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much, Hypnicity. That's wonderful. Thank you, Leah. I know a lot of times we overcomplicate it, but really with the meditation, it'll come back to the breath. And I am an air sign in Gregorian astrology, and so anything that's fast has my attention because then I get bored otherwise. So if you can do the meditating in the morning before your world wakes up and starts in on you, and you do your energy balancing, what it does is it helps you to become more aware. Your energy and your frequency then becomes more in alignment with the higher dimensional beings. And so you begin to have more openings with them. You'll begin to do more experiences. You'll begin to see more and more of the glimpses of the lightings, and you will begin to be even more and more open to hearing guidance from different guides, different spirit guides. Yes, they can be people, but sometimes they will present as an animal. Our own Lemurian light codes, the beings that we have are actually just cute, toned down versions of cosmic beings that are behind those. So this is helping you to become more and more in alignment with loving energy beings. So they're going to be very supportive. Love that one in the park. That's gorgeous, Paul. Let me see. Oh, and this was the other thing, because we've been talking about the twos. So there was a mention of a black moon that's going to be happening just a few days from now, actually. on August 22nd. And so what happens with the black moon, all of us are very familiar with the blue moon, like once in a blue moon. And what that is when you have two full moons in a single Gregorian month, that's called a blue moon. The second one will be called a blue moon. So with this one, it is when you have two new moons that are in the same month. That's called a black moon. Then the second one is called a black moon. So it is from pagan times, actually. It was considered a time of good luck, again with the rest. And again, we're going to do some self-reflection with the black moon. So that portal opening will be on August 22nd. It's kind of tricky because it goes from the 22nd to the 23rd. And so, and basically it's your manifesting. It's going to be setting your intention, but you're doing silence. You can retreat, you can rest, and then allow your intention. Maybe you're intending for more laughter to come into your life. Maybe you're intending more peace to come into your life, harmonious relationships, rather than trying to change somebody's viewpoint on something. Just step back from it and see if you can come into a peace. You don't have to change your mind, and they don't have to change their mind. You can come to agreement that you all love to pet a puppy, or that the kitten is doing something silly, or that the moon is beautiful. There's a lot that you need to do with stepping into neutrality with that one. Yeah, like this. I love the sound of the water and the birds. I try to do this at 5 a.m., the sound of the water. This is gorgeous, Paul. Absolutely. It doesn't take that long. That's the important thing, because I realize and I recognize that we all have very busy days. Now, the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to show it to you. I'm going to come up here. I don't know if I can. We're going to pop this off for just a second. Now, bigger than I thought. Okay, so I shared a video that is on my. Boy, that is really. There we go. Okay, that's a little better. I shared a video that is on my posts for YouTube, and it's very fast, but it is a doctor, and I think his name is Motivational Doctor. And what he was sharing is one super fast way to offload the stress and the anxiety from your body is to actually do a shaking method. I'll see if I can get my hair with me. He's conveniently bald, so you get to see from him a lot better. Sorry for the curls. But what you're doing is you're actually taking your fingers, grabbing your ears, and you're shaking it for about 30 seconds. And he explains in the video as you're doing this, because you'll do the top, the middle, and the bottom of the ear. And as you're shaking it, you're actually going to be releasing various points that are in and around the ear itself. This can help a lot if you have sinus trouble or if you have tinnitus, which is the ringing in the ears. Well, I gotta be honest, my tinnitus persisted because I get it. It's my energy guides. But more importantly from that, it's just the fact that a lot of us have stress and anxiety. By doing that, it will help to offload. Hi, Utica. It will help you offload the stress from the vagus nerve. And that will help you have a really good night's sleep. You want it for both ears. Takes you a top of 30 seconds to do it because you're just going even 10 seconds, or you could do it a little longer if you want. The video explained it. There's a timestamp on it that I put in there as well for whenever he started explaining the technique. But the whole video is not very long. And I love the fact that he will explain to you all the various parts, because it's the same sort of a thing with the meridians. And all of your points, your organ points, are reflected also in the ear. It's very easy to reach. And yeah, I had one of my better night's sleeps. I was really surprised. And the same thing, Hypnicity is saying, I hear the distant sirens practically 24/7. Same thing. It didn't completely remove my tinnitus, but I will say that it did tone down some of it. But the other part that remains for me, I know that my spirit guides. What sometimes with the tinnitus, what you're actually hearing is that higher frequency that's happening from the higher dimensional beings. And it's affecting your hearing simply because you're hearing them, you're hearing their actual energy field. And I don't want to say it causes interference, but that's kind of the language that usually gets used because it is an electrical interference with your own energy field, with your own hearing. So yeah, it's definitely one of the better night's sleeps that I've had. But it's very fast to do if you're freaked out over something, and it will actually help with the lymphatic drain. It was a really, like I said, it was short, but I love the fact that he goes over it, the different areas that you're going to be draining. So if you're struggling with like sinus right now, especially if you've got congestion in and around the head, because there are sinuses that go right underneath the cheek, behind the head at the base of the skull, and also in and around the ear and the eustachian tube. You have lymph glands that are right underneath your jaws, among other areas in the body. And so it was just something super fast that I wanted to share with everybody. There's another practical thing that you can do to help calm you down. And it is a very grounding thing that you can do. And I love the fact that it's, just yeah, your ears and your feet are connected to all body parts. Same thing with your hands. Yeah, weekends is a little bit longer. So we're going to go back up here with my doodads, go over to our next slide. And I really appreciate everybody that's been sharing they prefer doing. And I really appreciate that everybody took the time to respond to me on that. Again, if you have anything, if you've got any kind of a preference or something that's coming up, a technique or something that you would like me to address, go ahead and share that with me, and I will try to do it then on future live chats that we have. Oh, ethnicity on my channel. If you click on posts, you'll find it. I listed it this morning, and it's simply ear shaking. So it'll be really easy to find. Whenever we quit here, you'll be able to find that, add it on there. Thank you, Randy. Well, thank you, Paul. I really appreciate that. I just wanted to make sure that I was helping everybody as much as I could. Sometimes I come in and I'm really excited about things, and then I forget that other people are at various stages and everything. But yeah, I thought that would be extremely beneficial, especially as all of us get really stressed out sometimes. And so that would be really helpful. Let me see. Last 2 weeks, my knees are paining a lot. Utica, you're feeling like you're not going forward in the world. And I feel like I should have a bird, but I don't want to be cage. Oh, but you don't want to cage it. So I'm confused. Two minds. Depending on what type of a bird it is, I know a lot of times, and I'm going to be speaking to this simply because I used to work in, oh, you're so welcome, Kat. I used to work in a place called Tropical Pet. And so we had birds. And I know a lot of people go, ooh, it's a cage. But actually, the cage is a bedroom. It's their safe living space. And I find for birds especially, it's really important that a cockatiel, okay, it's really important for them to have a specific cage, especially at nighttime, and especially with a cockatiel because they'll have something that's called night frights. And so you have it set up. Oh, that's so sweet. Wonderful, Paul. But you have the cage set up so that they can be a part of your day. Birds are extremely communal, obviously. And so you want to be able to have them where whenever it's nighttime, that you can go ahead and cover the cage with a towel, leave the front of it open so that they can go ahead and breathe and everything. But that way it helps to darken it and they feel secure and safe. And it's the same thing as, do you feel more comfortable in a home situation when you have your own bedroom that you can retreat to versus having to sleep on the couch out there with everybody coming through the communal living space? hmm You're going to feel a lot more secure, especially for sleeping purposes and just for Let's face it, everybody needs a little bit of privacy sometimes. And that's the sort of a thing you need to do with a cockatiel cage. And you do want to have them with a cage. And the other thing that you're going to want is to also work with that baby, because usually you end up bonded with a baby, although it could be an older bird. Um, as they get to know you, you start off with them in a smaller enclosed room. If you're going to do a bathroom, please put the lid down on the toilet first. You would not believe how fast a bird can drown. But you begin interacting with them and bonding with them in a smaller room so that it is one-on-one. And with birds, definitely make sure that they stay at or below, I would suggest chin level, because whoever is taller is the more dominant in that relationship. But you become buddies over time. And then as they become more bonded to you, then you can take them out. You can put them on. We used to have, they're cute. They were tree branches that were on bases of wood, and they were like little portable stands. And then they could come out, hang out with you either on the countertop or don't let anywhere near the kitchen if you can avoid it. One, open flames, very dangerous. Two, again, the sink, very dangerous. Obviously, if you're giving them a bath, that's slightly different, but you're still going to want to monitor no open water, no open flames. And also when you're cooking, you definitely want to keep the bird away from that, because you're welcome. Because the cooking flames themselves, they can kill your bird. And I know the YouTube algorithm doesn't like that, but at the same token, you need to be aware that it's not safe for the little guys anywhere around your kitchen. And it's a little bit like a canary in a coal mine. So, whatever not good for them, you really need to think, not good, so good for me. I fall asleep in my. That's wonderful, Paul. That is wonderful. Okay, so I saw. Here we go. I spotted a chipmunk this week. They're so cute. So we're going to do a little bit of energy balancing. I'm not going to go ahead and do a full set today because we've actually done quite a lot with your energy systems. So today what I'm going to start off with is I'm actually going to focus a little bit more on the feet, just to kind of help ground everybody, because I know whenever we did that alchemization, that really gets us out there into outer space sometimes. Or you can also think of it as walking through a gateway and going into inner space. Sometimes I think we're a little bit fooled because we think, ooh, outer space is literally outer space, and that's a fun place to explore. But you can also explore by walking through a gateway and exploring these exact same alchemies of the dimensions into your own inner heart. And you'll see the doors unfold, kind of like petals coming down. But for now, if you're sensitive to energy, you may feel me around your feet, in and around the soles of the feet, but also the toes. Yeah, there we go. I love space too, and the floaty feelings. The main thing on it is because this month, well, the main thing on it is because sometimes our society pulls us up so much into our mental spaces that it helps us to feel our feet. Not so much that we are, ugh, I'm stuck in this nitty gritty, blah. Look at that little guy in front of you. Look at his beautiful little toes. He's in ground, and he's touching the ground, and he's zipping in and around the ground. And Mother Earth is providing him with a completely different, fantastical set of frequencies that are supporting him at the micro level. Thank you. And sometimes we forget because sometimes we really want to just rock it out of there. But look at the pure energy that's coming in and around him. Look at that frequency. And you can feel that. And yeah, I've been as barefoot. That's perfect, Randy. Being as barefoot as much as possible. Because what that's doing is, as we're overstimulated by most of our society, and as we get plugged into, as we love our electrical friends, it can overwire our energy system. And that's part of what the ear tugging, the ear shaking thing was to help with. And again, we just focus a little bit on our feet right now, because as you said earlier, the bottoms of the feet are very much the same as the ears. and also the palms, the hands. All of the organs, all of our meridians will flow through these, and our bodies are represented by these. In fact, if you have a reflexology massage on your feet or your hands, it helps to stimulate the organs of the body itself. And it also helps you to realign and get your energy system in alignment. Yeah, Paul saying same here. I just love it. And now we're going to go up into the knees because I heard Utica has some trouble with the knees. And again, by just moving some of the energy in and around the knees, you can even draw a figure eight around your knees, because a lot of times what that represents is being stuck, not moving forward in the world. If you have one knee versus another knee, sometimes people, hi, Jean Danielson, Wawa Nui. I have a slide for you in a little bit. If you go back to the replay, I actually started off with this as a nod to you. But to get back to the knees, depending on who you're listening to will depend on if the left knee is with your masculine side of the body, daddy issues, or if your right knee is connected to, say, the feminine. I've heard it both ways. And try not to get stuck too much on that duality. It's whenever you feel into your knees, decide which knee hurts, and then focus, sit and focus, close your eyes, feel into the pain of the knee itself, and ask it, do you have any messages for me? And then just give it space, give it that neutrality. Because sometimes you'll get answers. Sometimes you'll find your knee isn't actually the root of the pain itself. Maybe you twisted an ankle whenever you were younger, and so you just need to relearn to place your foot better. Or maybe the chair that you're sitting in makes one of your hips just really out of alignment with the rest of your body. And now it's shifting. I suspect in your case, Utica, it's more to do with the emotionality. And again, take your time, feel into the pain. Paul's got to wash his feetsies. Paul, I'm hearing Epsom salt sulk. But I suspect with Utica that you feel like you can't move forward in the world and balancing between your parents. What they want, what you think you want. Yeah, you might try that, Paul. Be sure you rinse off really well afterwards. A lot of people. And now the Epsom salts work wonders. Okay, now where I'm going to shift to is going to be, I saw Leah had some still around the head, and I know Randy's got still some around the neck and the shoulders. So we're going to move up to the head space. Ooh, that sounds beautiful. Oh, it was good for some years, but not now. I'm not going to do a full balancing set today because we're already pretty late into this show. But Jane, if you need, you can go back next week. And in the timestamps, I do an entire set for the energy balance. And I would recommend that for anybody that has things that are going on right now, because I walk through all of the meridians and balance them. Aw, thanks so much for popping in, Paul. You have a great week. That was really cool about Dreamweaver. There we go. And we're going to do just the tops of the neck and the shoulders. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I was about to say somebody's neck needs popped right where it joins the shoulder, but it just popped. So that was good. Okay. Down. And now I know someone said that they still are long COVID or dreaded C's. So I'm going to do a pattern that's on the back for the dreaded C's. And that pattern actually comes from my own personal acupuncturist who helped people. And again, if you're in a situation, oh my, if you're in a situation where that's going around your neighborhood or around your area, definitely up your zinc and your vitamin D3. Zinc specifically, because as I've mentioned before, that particular mechanism is called what's called an ionophore. And so it's going to come in and snatch the iron from your blood cells in your lungs. Oh. Utica, when we finish today, I want you to go back through and I want you to re-listen to the Lemurian Light Codes that I'm going to timestamp. And it's going to be really important to listen to right after the harmonization. There's something that I call an undoing and a doing. And it's going to address that story about what happened to your knee so that you can let that go. Yep. Oil of oregano and zinc. Yeah, I've just put out into the energy field that pattern that my own acupuncturist did. So that will help to shift that and help to clear it out, Lori, and anybody that's coming across that. And this time of year is always a little challenging anyways, ever going back to school. People are traveling and it can be a little stressy, and a lot of times it's just a perfect soup to have all kinds of colds and things going around. So upping your vitamin D, castor oil can help. Everybody's got kind of their favorites. Yeah, so I use the original and I have zincs. But like I said, the zinc, especially if you have the dreaded C, simply because it works specifically for that. And there again, if you are in an environment where a lot of kids and a lot of people are going to get together for the first time, um, everybody's got their own original things that they love to use and do. So raw garlic, you can do soleils, you can do all kinds of things. I like the hydrogen peroxide too if I've been out and about around a group of people. And especially if I come back and I'm slightly stuffed up or whatever, I'll put a few drops of hydrogen peroxide in each ear. And usually it'll foam in one ear. Sometimes it'll foam in both if it's really strong. And then If it doesn't foam, but you feel like you've got like cold symptoms or stuffed up nose or something, then that actually indicates that you've got an allergy going. So it could be that there's some pollen or something in bloom. And especially if it comes out of the blue, take a look at your diet, something that you've eaten you may be struggling with. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to go forward. Yes. All right. 'Cause I know you guys just love seeing photos of the Oregon coast. This is actually Neoconi Mountain in the summertime. So this is above the town of Manzanita on the Oregon coast. Neoconi is Tears the Dragon. So we actually have a marine layer moving in here, which is pretty awesome. In the summertime, whenever things heat up here on the Oregon coast, we have the marine layer. The air itself will hit the cold air of the Oregon coast, the Oregon waters, and it moves in as this huge fog bank then that will cover up and cool things down pretty quickly. Oh, sweet. Yes, Randy, absolutely. I have been eating more honey, and it's definitely going to help. And that's just it. Sometimes we're like, why in the world am I addicted? Why do I keep having all these cravings for sweet? A lot of times it can be something emotional where you want the sweetness in life. I've been doing coconut oil rinses, and I swear it decreases the length and the severities. That's perfect hypnicity, and you are correct. Absolutely. Yum. Raw honey and clove oil. Oh, that's yummy. You guys come up with the best things. Manja manja. Okay, hang on to your hats because we're going to go backwards because I wanted Jane to see what we started off with today. So Jane, this is for you. I know last week you had asked me about the Lemurian Light Codes and Umakawa because you had asked about the support for the second animal or the second being that supports and is the medicine for the month of Fatura, which is the month that we're currently in, which is the falcon. And so it I was right. I just wanted to double check. But yeah, the second being is the first being would be the camel for Fatura as a support being. The second support, there I go again. Isn't that a song? Yeah, here I go again. But the second support being was the Umakawa, which is the human shaman or the human healer. So that was for Huna Hamanisa. And I double checked. And we'll just zip right on forward. Yay. There we go. You're welcome. You're welcome. I just wanted to, I thought it was, I just wanted to double check before I committed to it. And again, for anybody that's new, the support beings, each motu will have two support beings, and they're called the medicines of the motu. But really, they are supportive animals to or support beings because we do have quite a few humans. For example, last month, whenever we had Kaka, it was the Uma, which is the primal human that was a support being then for the Kaka. And the leopard was the other support being for the Kaka. But this month, our support, it is the Uma Kawa. Yeah, so just pure Uma is Kaka medicine. And then Uma Kawa is the medicine for Fatura. And that gives you some of the some of the languaging then, some of the light languaging then that goes with that. So that's Lemurian. Awesome, awesome. Okay, everybody, this was quite the little packed packed chat today. We got quite a lot done, covered a lot of ground. I thank everybody for showing up here, and sometimes I know people can't come on to the live replays. If you're not here live and you're just seeing this on the replay, please note that in all of the energies and the technologies that were used here, they are timeless, so that you can come back to this or any of the others, and the energy will work exactly the same as what we had now. And it will certainly, if you have something specific that I didn't cover, it will absolutely still work. What you need to do is just think, have to, if you want to state it out loud or whatever, but it's like, let's say you didn't cover my tennis elbow today. Well, just think, hey, the energy that she used today is going to easily and effortlessly ease that pain right on off my elbow. And I will also say, if you have a persistent pain body, exactly like what we did for Utica today, sit quietly and simply ask the part that hurts, what's up? You know, I'm paying attention to you. Where does it hurt? Why does it hurt? And sometimes closing your eyes will actually give you a better response, because we spend so much of our capacity of our brain processing what we see with our eyes. And so you can close your eyes and actually feel into where you think it hurts. Sometimes, like what you saw with Utica, it shifted from one leg to another leg. Sometimes you'll feel that pain moving around. Maybe it's always showing up in your elbow, but actually it was lodged up in your neck instead. Keep quiet, keep shifting with it, keep giving it space, and get just the attention to go, what message do you need me to hear? Is there something here that I need to address or that I can support you with? And be gentle with it. You know, our bodies do so much for us, helping to keep us connected down here with Mother Earth. And to have this experience, honestly, our bodies really truly should be honored. I know sometimes we beat ourselves up because we don't look like whatever society thinks is our high pedestal of beauty, or we're disappointed because our health is not tippy top. Um, you're maybe one technique or one supplement or one um, enlightenment away from bringing your body back into the balance that it needs to have. And sometimes you'll find just listening to the energies that I put out there will help your body to ease up and go back into the alignment for what it needs. You're so welcome. I am so happy, so happy that you've all joined me today and went along on this little journey with me together. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day and a peaceful week. If you get the opportunity, go over to my channel, look at the posts that I just did. There's a post that I just did for shaking an ear technique for another fellow, and it worked really well for anxiety, calming, really great sleep. So hopefully you'll enjoy that as well. And I hope to see you again next week. Wawa nui, everybody. Wawa.